up, wake up.
I'm up. Honey, what's up?
Come on, let's do this podcast. What's up, world? It's a Two Woke podcast, and return again for episode 2 of our podcast tonight. And it's your boy Ab again, chilling with my beautiful wife, my co-host.
We're back.
Who are you?
Daina.
Oh, okay. Just to make things clear. You know what I'm saying? So we came back tonight. We want to thank everybody for liking and commenting on our last podcast. We really appreciate you guys for even taking the time out to check it out. And, we just want to come to you guys with some good topics and create a good body of work that we can stand on now and in the future. And so tonight, we want to talk a little bit about mental health.
I feel like this topic is kind of untitled until we're actually going into the conversation. So
yeah, that's true. But just to give people an outline.
Yes, but mental health is a good issue we need to touch up on. So.
Yeah, especially like me personally, I think that mental health in the Black community, especially in all communities, but especially in the Black community, it's more of a taboo thing because when you say the words mental health, you think of crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that's so far from the case. You know what I mean? It's total opposite. Like anything else with your body, physically, we want to be healthy. And financially, we want to be healthy. Relationship-wise, we want to be healthy. So mentally, we want to be healthy as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. I think mental health has to do with just the cycle that we're in growing up or that we're raised in. And, people don't want to identify their issues with how they grew up or what they've been through. So, swept under the rug. And, life always repeats itself. So, you can't sweep anything up under the rug for so long before,
it
piles up
yeah.
so hard that, you can't escape it. So, we want to get into this topic because we just feel like it's important for our community. And not only the Black community, like I feel like every community has this issue.
Absolutely.
And I feel like this is why, we're going through the things we're going through today as far as violence is concerned, as far as us growing up in single households.
It's a cause for a lot of abuse. Drug abuse, alcohol abuse, like these are band-aids for mental health issues, whether we want to identify with them or not. Like these are things that these are like methods that we use to take out our pain, and ultimately we taking it out on ourselves. When we do these type of things, but these are like almost like outward cries for what's actually buried inside of you as a person. You know what I mean? As a people. So I think it's important to address, and I think it's important that people
identify their issues as soon as possible before anything serious happens within your family or within yourselves, because if you can't identify the issue and if you can't see it in yourself and there's an issue, then it's just going to get worse for everyone around you. So we feel like it's important to talk about this. We're gonna touch on some experiences that we've been through in hopes that you guys will
you can draw from it and identify with it within yourselves, those who have. And a lot of people have, not everybody's willing to admit it, but a lot of people have. And these are things that
I feel like we all go
I think everybody has it in a sense.
Everyone goes through a cycle within their lives and their families that, it just keeps repeating itself from
And,
generation to
yeah,
generation to generation. And and I feel like, at the end of the day, you have to be yourself and you have to live your life as long as you're understanding of the issue, and you're seeking help any way you can. It'll help you cope with living day to day
and
and understanding
yeah,
what you're going through.
yeah, and talking about it, one is one of the main things that'll lead you help, or it'll lead to you seeking help, because it's important to get it out, and I don't want to keep going back to the black community, but the black community, mental health is a taboo in the sense that we go through things in our families that get passed on from generation to generation, because these are things that uncomfortable conversations that we don't want to address as a people.
Because of confrontation,
Confrontation, for shame,
denial,
denial, guilt. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, all of these things, like, at the
or you
end,
just don't really see them.
yeah,
Like, people just
yeah,
don't realize it's an issue
yeah, exactly,
unless someone points it out to you, because
yeah,
you grow up, you grow up in this environment, so you think it's okay.
yeah. I'm a firm believer that um, the hardest thing to change is nature. And when I say nature, I mean the things that happen over a long period of time that you become accustomed to become a part of your nature. Like
Mm-hmm.
like I heard somebody say before, like when you talk about Mother Nature in itself, um, it's impossible to stop a hurricane, to stop a tornado. Man doesn't have the power to stop these forms of nature. You feel what I'm saying? And it's hard to actually change or reverse something that's natural, because it's it's hard to identify with it as being a problem because it becomes a part of your nature. And so back to mental health is like, you live in an environment where you grow up in that environment, and it may be an unhealthy, dysfunctional environment, but you don't know that's unhealthy and dysfunctional because you become so accustomed to it that it becomes a cycle that you don't even understand the side effects of it until you become an adult. And when you become an adult, you have to deal with adult relationships, and then you see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody else will show you who you are through just being in a close relationship with them, and it pulls things out of you that you never even knew took place.
And
You know
that's
what I mean?
exactly what happened between us. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I feel like that's how we became a stronger couple, because when we went through our fights and anger and a whole lot of other issues, we wanted to, well, we both were kind of like, how did you get to be this angry? Like, where
yeah,
did this come from? And we did a lot of communicating, and kind of telling each other about what we saw in each other that we didn't like. And I think we asked questions like, what did you go through, what did you see?
yeah,
And I feel
yeah,
like that's how we're able to cope with our feelings with each other and our emotions with each other, because we recognize now where our anger lies.
yeah. And you know, you have to understand it.
Or issues, or whatever
Yeah,
we're going through at the time.
like, you have to understand it for yourself personally in order to help your significant other understand it. You understand what I'm trying to say? So at some point in time, like, you have to go on a personal journey of discovery to find out, like, where the problem lies, where the problem arose, like, where the problem came into being, and try to, like, backtrack to it, and then try to bring it back all the way back up to the present day, to say, okay, well, these are the like major things in life that transform me or had an impact on my being mentally, growing up or as an adult, and these are things that shape us as a people. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's identifying it for yourself and understanding it for yourself will help you to relay it to your spouse. Because I know I had to go through it. I had to take time out to understand and learn the things that took place in my childhood that were made it easy for me to, explain them to you so that you can get a better understanding of who I was as a
And
man. You
what you
feel what I'm
went
saying? And
through.
what I went through, because it takes understanding and compassion. You know what I'm saying? Like, had you not had that understanding, you probably looked at me like, yo, this dude is 730, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck is wrong with him? You know what I mean? So
And it all falls back on communicating
yeah,
with each other. And I think it's you know, I feel like as a couple, in order to make each other better, we have to understand each other in and out. So I feel like it's important to mend to mend any strife you're going through by knowing what the person has been through, which does go back to understanding and knowing what you went through growing up, or knowing what I went through growing up, or for any one of you that has been in a dysfunctional home. Not to say like we're coming from dysfunctional homes.
honestly, from what I heard, like when I did my homework over a period of time, and I used to do research on it, there's no such thing as a completely healthy home. Every home is tainted with some percentage of dysfunction. You feel what I'm saying? Because we're not perfect human beings, and so I mean that's just a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? But then there's different levels of dysfunction where things kind of tip the scale and go past dysfunction to abuse and things like that. And that's a part of
Mental abuse,
mental,
physical abuse,
physical,
all that.
emotional. You know what I'm saying? And that's verbal, and that's also a
Virgo.
form of dysfunction as well. So it's like these dysfunctional environments that we come from, ultimately have an impact on our adult lives and how we lead our adult lives, and the direct relationships that we create as adults. And when it comes to a spouse or a marriage where you bear children, these
Hmm.
children have a direct effect on it because they can't run from that household.
Right.
They're
That's
absorbed
what they
by
know.
everything in it. So that's all they know coming up. And so it's important to be able to identify with these things as soon as you possibly can, so to avoid that cycle,
And
continuing
I think
on.
it's also important not to put blame
Right.
on anyone,
It's
because
true.
like you said, everyone, like, we all are imperfect and
It's
we
true.
all went through something. And you can't ever put blame for what you've seen or what you've been through. You can ask questions. You can go back and ask your parents or relatives, like, why, and hopefully you'll get a response from that. But yeah, I feel like it's important to ask questions,
Yeah.
and it's important to get answers, just to mend your soul, because we all need healing. And like I said, like, nothing's gonna happen overnight, but just to get that understanding, to go and walk your day to day, to go walk into your day to day lives, and to know how to cope with situations and people. Like, you need to have that understanding.
Yeah, it makes you a better person. It makes you a stronger person. And what people that they fail to realize is that these struggles that we go through as human beings, what I mean, first and foremost, these struggles that we go through and that we come through, and at the other end we become healthier, makes us stronger people. It makes us a stronger person than a person who didn't go through this type of adversity. You feel what I'm saying? So you can't look at yourself as being weak or being ashamed, because these are the things that make up who you are as an individual. Like, you should stand on it. You should embrace it and take control of it, and don't allow it to control and manipulate your life. And you
And
should,
don't be ashamed. Did you say that?
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
don't
I
be
agree. Yeah.
ashamed. Like, don't be ashamed of yourself. I feel like you have to take pride in where you came from, whether it's good or bad. But as long as you turn that bad into good, and as long as you know where it all comes from, you
Yeah.
know. I feel like we all just carry all these burdens, and we just don't understand why. So
And we,
just I feel like you should never be ashamed and just work on yourself daily. Like it's a job in itself, to work on yourself. If you have to, write, pray, talk to someone, don't ever think that no one cares or won't no one will ever listen to you, because you just never know who you may run into that has gone through the same issue.
yeah. And honestly, like me personally, I'm proud to say, not proud, but yeah, I am proud. As a matter of fact, I'm proud to say that I went through um, bouts of abuse in my household coming up, in domestic violence, verbal, physical, mental, all those type of things. But I'm proud to say that I'm here. I'm happy. Um, I'm progressing. I have beautiful children. I have a beautiful wife. I have a beautiful home. Like I have things that I can't, I can't begin to not stop appreciating, because like I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm proud in the sense that I came through these things and I understand them. It took a while. It took a lot of me beating my own head against the wall. It took a lot of me taking a lot of these things out on myself. Drugs, alcohol, forms of sex in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things that we use as like coping mechanisms to take out our frustrations
Frustration.
and our pain. You feel what I'm saying? And our anger, and we don't know where it's coming from, so it's misdirected and misguided because we haven't taken control of it. And so I'm proud to say that I took control of it because I had to learn what it was, where it came from, why it took place, and how it affected me, and what I do further moving on to to take control of it. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Do you want to tell them certain steps you have taken yourself to improve on yourself?
One thing that I think that was pivotal in me, like growing through it, was talking about it. Like I was the type of person where I wore it on my sleeve. Like I was never ashamed of it. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because and one thing that empowered me in doing so is like I think I brought it up to somebody years ago, and just in conversation it came up, and I started talking to him about it, and I wasn't really that bold in speaking on it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it's taboo in our communities and stuff, and so I spoke on it, and I come to realize that the person I was speaking to went through the same thing. And so it's empowering to know that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm trying to say? In certain
Someone can
situations,
relate to you, so
somebody can
that.
relate to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gives you a sense of like, yo, man, I'm not the only one who's dealt with
Right.
this. Like other people are dealing with this. And at the end of the day, it empowered me to continue to verbalize it, to speak on it. Not to the world, but in a sense that because I know that the more I got it out of my system,
It's like therapy for
it's
you.
therapy, man. It's better. It's better healing for my soul. So you know what I'm saying. It's easy to talk to about every time. You feel what I'm saying? And only because I harbor less and less of it, the more and more I talk about it.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And in talking about it to another individual who's been through the same thing, they're able to give me their insight on it and how they're dealing with it. And I take a little bit from how they dealing with it to help me cope, and they taking a little bit of how I dealt with it to help them cope. And so we're all learning, we're growing, and we're getting better as a people. You know what I'm saying?
So how do you feel? How do you feel today? Like, where do you think you stand today with coping?
I think like I'm not gonna put a percentage on it or anything because I think it's always gonna be work. But I think I'm good, and when I say good, I mean good in the sense that um, I have control over it. Like I can control my anger. I can control my emotions. And I ain't gonna say 100% of the time. You feel what I'm saying? But I can control it in the sense where I can identify with it. Like if I have a outburst, I can sit back and say, you know what, Abby, like, yo, that was wrong. Like you went a little too far. And I know knowing where it comes from, I'm gonna sit there and say, you know what, this is something that you can't do. You gotta put it in check because you know how it feels being on the receiving end of it, so you can't be on the end of delivering it and feel so good about it. You feel what I'm saying? And it makes you think twice about it. So I feel like I have control over it, but I know for a fact I still got a lot of work to do. You feel what I'm saying? And I think it's a lifelong
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Because you went through it most of your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of my childhood. And those are the years that are more impressionable on you. You know what I mean? They're more traumatic on a child versus had me being an
That's why
adult.
it's good to have a
You know what I mean?
partner, a friend, a relative who actually understands
Yeah.
what you've been through. And, just never beat that person down.
Yeah.
Sometimes words hurt. And I feel like that's what, we need to work on as well. Like, curbing our words because it's still a form of abuse.
Yeah.
Like if you already know that the person has an issue, to beat them down and to talk down to them when they're already down.
Yeah, it's like beating a dead horse,
Yeah.
man. Like, why do it?
It's just making the situation worse. So, yeah, I feel like, you need to just always be supportive in everything
Yeah,
that the
and
person's going through.
yeah, and it's important to be in a healthy environment also, because sometimes our environments don't allow us to
Mend.
yeah,
Heal.
we don't have the quiet time. We don't have the peace in order to sit back, because sometimes you got to listen to your inner you, and you can't hear your inner you when you're distracted by the outside world so much. You feel what I'm saying? So sometimes it takes for you to just sit back and have a little bit of peace and quiet, and sit there and listen to your spirit, listen to your soul, listen to God, because He's always talking to you, and try to rationalize certain things. Some things are hard to rationalize, and if you can't rationalize them yourself, go talk to somebody who's been through it themselves. You feel what I'm saying? Because they can give you a little bit of better advice.
And if
You know what I mean?
And if you see yourself in your kids or a relative, if you see what they're going through and you understand it, pull them aside and talk to them about it. It's important because that's like hopefully you're ending a cycle right there, and you just can't keep letting things happen in your life and wonder why this person is acting this way or reacting this way. It comes from somewhere.
It always does. It always stems from a source, and like this whole conversation is not to blame the source, because it's what it is to do is to understand it. You feel what I'm saying? Because you got to remember, our families didn't start in our generation. You know what I mean? Our family started with the generation before us, and then the generation before them, and the generation before them, and before them. So if I picked up a bad habit from my mother or my father, they might have picked it up for their mother or their father, and they might have picked it up for their mother and their father. And you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's a generational thing that gets passed down. So it's never, you can't blame any one individual for the environment that they created for you as a child growing up.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say? And it goes back to you can't blame somebody for something they didn't know. You understand what I'm trying to say? But once they know and once they understand, because knowing and understanding is two different things. Once they understand, then I feel like they're held responsible to do something to make a change. And so I feel proud that the both of us are in a situation or an environment where I think we're coming to an understanding. Mm-hmm. And when you get to that point where you have a level of understanding, then you have the power to create change with that understanding. We had the knowledge, we're gaining the understanding, and now we're in a position to be able to create change, mm-hmm. which is ultimately going to impact our generations coming after us. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely right.
It's not an easy thing to deal with, man. Um, as a child, you grow up confused. You grow up um, lacking confidence. You grow up with anger. You grow up with pain. And as a child, being that you don't know how to manage these emotions, you you
You grow up to be an adult with the same
exactly.
the
You're a
same
grown
thing.
kid. You feel me? With the same exact emotions because those emotions never got worked out properly. But you can't expect you to work them out properly because you're a child. You know what I'm saying? A child doesn't know how to manage his emotions the way adults do. So as adults now, because we,
You
if
have to
we
be aware, like,
exactly if we're not aware of it, how you gonna manage it?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's where the whole denial, like, you cannot be in denial all your life. Yeah, but it's so hard because people are just used to being a certain way. They're used to thinking that how they are is okay. And I think that's, that was the issue with you and I. Like, we coming together as a couple. If you don't like or appreciate something that I'm doing, you let me know. And it's important to change. And you're only gonna change for someone who loves you, who cares about you, and it's gonna benefit yourself and the relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
So, a lot of people don't have that.
Yep.
That's why it's important to talk to whoever you can trust. You know, if you don't have relatives to talk to, seek help. I'm sure there's a lot of people on the internet you can find in chat rooms or forums that's going through this.
Hell, you could shoot an email to us.
Yeah, definitely.
Email us and talk to us about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been through it, and so I know that I'm be able to share some.
And as his wife, I've seen him go through it. And it's not only him, it's like myself. Like, I feel like we all have something in us. So, you can talk to me and ask me questions on how I deal with it as well. You want to give them the email?
Oh yeah, the email is 202 at
So
gmail.com.
that's a number 2, WOKE, the number 2 at gmail.com.
Absolutely. And so, shoot us an email if you got any questions, you got any concerns or anything you want to talk about. I would love to hear, from you guys out there if you guys want to talk about anything, because and don't be ashamed or embarrassed or feel guilty about anything. Like that's what this is about. This is about healing us as people, as a community, individually. This is for our families so that we can live happy, healthy lives. You know what I'm saying? Because all the money in the world ain't gonna help you.
Your sanity.
Exactly, ain't gonna clean up your sanity, man. Like all the cars and the clothes and the houses, like none of that stuff is going to change your inside, man. That might look from the outside looking in, yeah, you look like you popping, but from the inside looking out, it's an ugly picture. You feel what I'm saying? So like that's an important thing.
And put your pride away, your ego to
Yeah,
the side.
yeah, kill all that.
And let's just get to the bottom of it, because we're trying to instill unity, peace, and understanding in all of you guys. So we're hoping we all can grow together as a community and as people.
I don't have enough room in this house, baby, for everybody to be growing in it together. Like,
I mean, as long as like certain people, as long as we can pay this rent, like let's say it's 100 people, like we ain't got.
they can't sleep in here. You know what I'm
We ain't
saying?
gotta put out
I'm
that
sorry,
much
y'all.
money.
Like, you can't fit up in my house. You can stop by, grab something to eat or something, but you know what I mean. Word up, but yeah, but she's right. You know what I'm saying? Like we all need to grow together, man. And that's what this is about. It's about spiritual growth, mental growth. You know what I'm saying? It's important, man, that we address these type of things, and we want everybody else out there to benefit from us addressing these type of things. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's time. It's time. It's time. Black people. It's time. White people. It's time for all of us to get to a mentally healthy state. You feel what I'm saying? Because
You don't know. We might all need each other soon.
exactly, messing with
Sooner or
Trump.
later.
You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna all need each other, somebody shoulder to lean on in this day and time that we living in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like important to throw all our egos and pride to the side and deal with the reality of the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like don't run from it, run towards it. You know what I'm saying? Deal with it and get it out the way so you can move on, man. You know what I'm saying? We got money to make. We got big plans, don't we, babe?
Yeah, we do.
We got big plans, man. We can't afford to let things like this, impede our progress. You know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be there, but we're never gonna allow it to control,
Our destiny.
our forward movement, man. You know what I'm saying? It's too many things out here for us to accomplish, man.
You need to search a higher power. Do so. Whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, talk to it. Talk to your spirit. Talk to the spirit. Because the spirit's always listening.
Well, you can call Miss Cleo. She right here.
Call me, man.
You call Miss Cleo. You know what I mean? She know everything. Shit. Since we confirmed the last episode that
since 10 people calling me now.
Since we confirmed the last episode, Miss Cleo is no longer with us. You know what I mean? Miss Daina has officially taken her slot. So shoot an email in and she'll read your future for you too. For $5.99 for the first minute.
$5.99
for the first minute. Let me finish. And $10 for every minute after.
That's right, man.
You know what I'm saying? Gotta get this paper. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, that's real. And we coming to y'all and we being totally blatantly honest. You know what I'm saying? We stripping down our souls in hopes that you guys can benefit from it. You understand what I'm trying to say? And
connect with us because we want to connect with you. We want to be here for you.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't want to draw this thing out, and be rambling on about nothing. Why are you looking at the time?
I'm not.
Like you gotta go to work tomorrow.
I gotta be in bed by.
I gotta go to work too.
Time.
You know what I'm saying?
Or else I can't function.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, man, all this is about is mental spiritual growth. You know what I mean? Put all
trying to end these cycles that we're going through.
Exactly.
I know we're not gonna end it. Let's try to.
No, let's replace the cycle. Replace the cycle with something else. Just like
with knowledge and understanding.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Like instead
let's acknowledge and understand the cycle.
Yeah, it's similar to like picking up a greasy piece of fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
Whatever. Put that down and pick up. Yeah, pick up something healthy.
With hot sauce and ketchup.
Come on, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Like how you get on the fried chicken?
Now I'm hungry.
But at the end of the day,
you brought up fried chicken.
All right. So you put down the fried chicken and you put something in healthy. So you don't have to end the cycle. Just replace it with something healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of screaming and yelling at your kids, just have a little patience.
Baked chicken?
Yeah. Baked chicken, fried chicken, don't really matter.
Super Bowl coming up. Super Bowl. Get your fried chicken, baked chicken.
Yeah, for all y'all out there who gonna partake in the Super Bowl this weekend, I'm going for ATL. Underdogs.
I'm going for ATL too, boo.
You know what I'm saying?
We on the same team,
All right, so we're gonna rock out and enjoy ourselves too watching this game. You know what I mean?
We would love to know what you guys are cooking because we be throwing this down.
Yeah, those are
We're going to do a cooking episode one day because we love to cook.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're going to let y'all know what we have for Super Bowl. Maybe we'll like put up a picture or something.
But you cook. I burn. You know what I mean? It's a different story.
That's not a good thing.
No, I burn. Burning is a good thing. Like I'm saying it.
You burn food?
I burn it down. Like I
burn the house down?
No, I throw it down like never mind. You get what she's trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Like
no, we trying to get what you trying to say. What you trying to say?
I'm just saying. So if you guys, I'm gonna change the subject real fast. If you guys out there,
what?
I'm trying to get to the Super Bowl thing, man. I'm trying to figure out a way I could put a wager on the
he's
net.
He's trying to get some bets in.
Get some money. You know what I mean? But at any rate, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out to my little brother. He gonna be down there in Houston in the Super Bowl, um, in the work capacity. Bilal, what up? Shatar, what up?
Hey y'all.
You know, and
Shout out to my sisters then.
yeah, to your sisters, your mother, your father. We gotta shout out one
I
person.
know,
Got to shout out
exactly.
everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Guys, do a family reunion shout out.
Yes.
Shout out to all our family.
Shout out
We
to
love you.
shout out to
Appreciate
everybody
you.
who
And friends.
everybody who hears this podcast. Put it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to our listeners. Shout out to you. Shouts out to you.
Shout out to you too, baby.
Shout out to you, boo.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up, man. You know what I'm saying? Before this girl gets delirious on me, man. You know what I mean? So much love. Stay mentally healthy, physically healthy, spiritually healthy. We love you all. You know what I mean? The same way I love my baby.
Peace, love, and unity.
Word up. Peace out, man. Hold on. Before we go anywhere, we got a little special treat for y'all. In lieu of the whole New Edition movie that's going on BET right now, we want to leave you with a rendition, my family's rendition of Can You Stand the Rain?
New Edition. I know this is gonna suck, but I think I sound super good.
Yeah.
This perfect day. Know that I can count on you. That's not possible. Tell me how you storm. 'Cause I need somebody who will stand by me through the good times and bad.
She's actually saying the words.
She's reading the words.
Just watch me. Watch me.
Cut.